Okay, now I know I said I was going live on TikTok. However, TikTok, they told me I could go live. What they neglected to tell me was that you have to have gone live 3 times on 3 separate days. And I also have to have gone live for 30 minutes. So here I was, all ready to go live. And yeah, couldn't go live. So sat there looking like a right lemon. But yeah, I couldn't go live. So we're going to try on here instead. We're going to try on here instead. So I spoke to Heidi and she said that she can do it on here. So we're just going to wait. We're just going to wait a few minutes for Heidi to come on here. And then we're going to do it on here. So it's completely thrown everything out of whack because I don't normally do Unbreakable Voices on a Thursday, do I? So I know everyone's going to be completely out of whack. It is Thursday. It's not Wednesday. But yeah, we're gonna do it here. She's just seen my message, so I'm just waiting for her to come on, and then we can do a live on here. We are going to do it with Heidi at some point on TikTok, so we will get to watch her story on TikTok as well. But we're going to do it live on Instagram. Oh my gosh. Oh no, she sent me, what she sent me? Hold on. Can't hear that because it's flipping. What'd she say? Hello?
Yeah, let's do it. I'm happy to go now.
Heidi, did you hear yourself then? Okay, right. Accept. Oh, what happened there? Let's try again. Accept. Go live. Oh, come on. I think I have to, hold on. I think I have to invite you. I should know by now what I have to do. Literally every time I do this, I always do it the wrong way. So, there we go.
There we go.
Yay! Oh my God.
We got there somewhere.
I was getting so annoyed. I was like, I don't understand. And then asking people for help and no one was helping. I was like, oh my gosh. Right, we're here. So it's not TikTok, but we're here.
We got the platform at least.
Right, so for anyone who doesn't know me, my name is Sharon. I'm the Cancer Mum cheerleader. I was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma 4 years ago. And I now try and help other mums and other people to help spread awareness, to help educate, because early detection really does save lives. And I just feel that cancer is such a taboo subject. We don't talk about it, and we should talk about it because it's everywhere. So that's why Unbreakable Voices was born. And I have amazing people like Heidi here who are happy to come and share their story and help raise awareness. So here's Heidi.
Yeah. Hi everyone. So I was diagnosed with classic Hodgkin's lymphoma back in March, but my symptoms kind of started back early December. So it took really quite a long time as such to get the diagnosis. I wasn't ever aware that I was never worried about cancer. I didn't think it was cancer when I went to the doctors. So basically, I'd had my little boy in October 23 and was basically in the early stages of motherhood. I'd put on quite a lot of weight. So I had shortness of breath. I was fatigued. My little boy didn't sleep. So I was fatigued and tired all the time. And it was getting to the point, I'd then gone back to work in the August. So I was back to work, juggling childcare, back to work, normal household duties. And I just was constantly feeling like getting to the point where I was feeling burnt out. And then one weekend I had noticed a bit of swelling in my neck, and then literally the next day there was a lump just like here on my collarbone. It's still kind of there, you can still see it, it's not gone yet. And I sent a picture of it to my sisters and my mum, and I said, oh my god, look at this lump, like where's that come from? I literally thought it was just my body burning out. I had so much stress in my life at that time, and my older sister was like, you need to go get that checked, that's something not right there. And so I went to get it checked. I booked a doctor's appointment on the Monday. Again, really didn't think it was ever going to be cancer. He told me he wasn't worried, but we'll go get it checked. And fast forward, the weekend before Christmas, I had an ultrasound, and I could just tell by the doctor who did it there was something wrong. And he was like, I'm really sorry, you have to refer you to a specialist. And I got the news Christmas Eve from the GP to say, and it was literally about 4 o'clock, so just before we started to do the traditions with my son. It was, I'm really sorry, we are concerned this is something sinister, and started to go through any symptoms I could have had. And I didn't have any weight loss, I didn't have any loss of appetite. It was just the lump, the tiredness and shortness of breath, which I didn't even think was connected, so I didn't even necessarily mention them. And then we're like, we're going to have to fast track you to all these tests. So literally I had Christmas Day, Boxing Day, the day after that I was in for blood tests, the week after that it was CT. Then I got referred to a heart and chest specialist, and it just went on from there really. It was all a bit of a whirlwind. And they were still saying they wasn't concerned it was cancer. They were like, it's not our priority, it's not, you know, it's not our priority. And then I had the PET scan, and I don't know about you, but I did feel deep down, I just knew it was. When I got that phone call Christmas Eve, I just knew. And even my family was like, it could just be your thyroid, it's fine. But I just knew. I don't know how to explain it. I just was like, no, this is not right. And yeah, had all the tests and everything. Got to March, I had 2 biopsies because the first biopsy was inconclusive, so I had to have another one.
Oh my God.
So that was like an 8-week period where I still didn't know if it was cancer.
Right.
It was, yeah, really quite distressing, and you were completely in limbo. You just imagine, probably understand how that feels, you know, you don't know. And then I got called in by, I ended up getting referred to the ENT department, and he come in and was like, it's lymphoma, but we don't know what type yet. And so finally got to find out, got called back in March, and there was like, right, it's classic Hodgkin's, and it's stage 2B, which means I'm like symptomatic. So stage 2A is where you don't have any symptoms, just a lump.
Right.
But stage 2B is where it's your upper diaphragm and you've got symptoms. So my symptoms started to progress actually, really. And again, not what I would have associated with cancer. So I had obviously the shortness of breath, the tiredness, my body hurt as well, had the lump here that then started to grow a bit up here. And then I ended up with night sweats as well. So I just thought that was part of having my son, and hormones trying to get back to normal. I really didn't think it was linked to cancer, but it was one of the symptoms. And then once I started having this red rash all in my hands and up my arm. And if I sat in the sun, it got worse. So I couldn't really sit in the sun for long. And then I started getting really bad chest pain. So because of the treatment, so I'm currently on ABVD chemo. And because of that treatment, I was told it obviously could make me infertile. Now, I've got my little boy, but I wasn't ready to not have another child or have the ability to have another child.
No.
So I was given the option to kind of wait and delay chemo to have the egg retrieval. And at that time, I'd actually split from my husband. So during all this diagnosis, and I wasn't ready to not have that restart if I met somebody else or whatever. You know, I love being a mum and I want to be able to do it again. But my symptoms got a lot worse, and I rang my CNS team and they were like, no, we're going to have to pull the option of egg retrieval and get you in straight away. So that was a lot to process as well, to give up that option. So yeah, I've been on
What was the time
ABVDs.
frame then from of all of that happening? What was the time
So
frame of that?
literally a month. So it literally, my chest pain started to get worse. I mean, I had a lot of stress as well, so I kept putting it down. It's really hard to explain. I kept putting it down to anxiety and thinking this will just go, it will die down. And then I kept reminding, no, I've got cancer. These symptoms aren't going away, you know. And I kept putting it off and putting it off. And I was like, this is not something I can put off. This is something I need to talk to someone about. So I
Yeah.
decided to speak to the nurses, and they were like, because I've got lumps in my chest as well, you can't see them. I didn't even know they were there. So when they come back on the scan results, it was a bit of a shock. So they were like, no, we've got to get you in for treatment. And they escalated it and brought it forward by a few weeks anyway. And at the time, I just kind of felt like, you know what? I can't really think about what could be. I had to focus on what was now. And that was my little boy, and me getting better for my little boy, and us being able to live life eventually again, you know. So yeah, it's all been a lot to take in, a lot of a whirlwind.
I mean, it all sounds like it's like just happened all so quickly. I mean, let's go back. Describe the exact feelings then that you had when they did then confirm your suspicions of you've got cancer.
Do you know what? I felt a bit numb to it. I just felt numb. When they told me about it all, and we went in, my mum and sister came with me, and when I went and met with the haematology team, and they spoke and explained all what it means, classic Hodgkin's, and that it's a rare blood cancer, and it just wasn't going in straight away that it was cancer, like, or it's a blood cancer. I'd never heard of it before. I'd never come across it. So it was, you've heard of, you know, other cancers, but never lymphoma. So I just felt really numb. And then they started giving me all this information about it could make me infertile, I'm going to lose my hair. And they were the two main things that I was like, no, you know, this can't be happening to me. And when they mentioned chemo, and I've always said I felt more scared of the word chemo than I did cancer, because I know that was going to be tough. So I came out, and they were so positive, and the staff was so lovely and so supportive. I came out and was like, well, that was positive. And then I was like, no, that wasn't positive. I've got cancer, you know. And I got home and I just cried. I cried about losing my hair. I cried about the problems with infertility. And then I just cried that I've got cancer, and all I kept saying was, I don't have time to have cancer. I'm a mum. I don't have time to have cancer. I can't be this unwell. My son needs me. So yeah, that was kind of all of that was going on once I was told.
And how did you cope with telling then your friends and family?
So I was quite lucky my family had been a big part of this as we were going through it. And then telling friends become, like, very close friends become quite easy, very supportive. And they were with me every step of the way. So even when it was suspected cancer, my close friends knew. And, you know, they were coming over. It got loads of flowers, beautiful flowers. But it was really difficult. It was more difficult, I think, because we kind of didn't really talk about it. So I've got a couple of older nephews that are really aware. And I think because at the same time I was splitting from my husband, there was so much conversation about it, about like cancer and stuff, but we didn't want them to know straight away. We didn't know how to tell them. So my sister did tell, like, has now told them they're aware. And obviously I've lost my hair. This is obviously a wig. So my sister's told them, so they're more aware now. But we were really kind of treading carefully on how they were going to, because there's so much about it. And like I say, we don't talk about it enough. So when people do hear it, people are instantly scared, and they're at the age where they're aware and they know it affects people's lives. So it was quite difficult at that point. And even, you know, like my dad, he's been affected by cancer in his life from like in his family and friends. So it's just how I then started thinking about how it was going to affect everybody else,
Mm,
rather than myself, but affecting
yeah.
how they were going to be able to see me go through this as well.
Yeah. No, that's the thing. I think when you're going through it, you tend to then, like, especially being a mum as well, but then you think, well, I've got to stay strong then
Yeah,
for
for everybody
everybody else.
else.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's like, they're not going through it, you are.
Yeah, exactly. It's literally like
It's,
that.
it's really hard. So how old is your son now then?
So he's 19 months old.
Okay. So do you think when he's older, do you think you'll tell him? Because
Yeah, I'd like,
everyone's experience is different. I
yeah.
mean, I've told my daughter, I told her last year, she was 13, but I haven't yet told my son, who
Oh,
is nearly 9, because I don't feel he's emotionally yet ready.
ready for it. Yeah.
But
Were they
everyone,
aware of it when you was going through it?
no, they knew that because I had it in my
Mm,
eye. So I would have my radiotherapy and then I come back with a patch over my eye.
right.
So they knew that mummy had a bad eye,
Yeah.
but that was
Oh,
it.
yeah. See, I mean, I'm quite lucky, like he's young enough at the moment he doesn't know and he won't remember, and I'm
Mm,
pleased for that.
yeah.
Because once I've had chemo, it wipes me out. So I'll be in bed, I'm not really on my phone. I do make time to go sit with him, and my mum has been an absolute hero. She's kind of moved in with me. She's had to give up work early. She was meant to retire in September. She's given up work early, and she really helps me look after him.
Mm,
So I'm quite glad he doesn't remember. I would like to tell him my story when he's old enough, and I think that's another reason why I've been documenting it on like TikTok and Instagram, because I I want to look back at it one day and what I've been through and what I've achieved, and I would like him to know that no matter what, he was always my priority. But again, I think
yeah.
like what you're saying, when he's emotionally ready to hear that, because it's a lot,
Yeah.
and a lot for him to then understand, especially when he wouldn't remember what happened either.
No, no. And that's the thing. It's like, oh, brain fog then. I forgot what I was going to say. But I always wanted as well my children, like when I told my daughter, like, I mean, I told her and she cried and it was the hardest
Oh
conversation
wow,
ever.
yeah.
But I wanted her to know then that unknowingly, her and her brother were giving me this strength and they were
Yeah,
giving me this courage. And I think it's nice for them to sort of then know that
yeah,
and to know
yeah,
that cancer doesn't mean a death
yeah,
sentence. Like
absolutely. Yeah.
just educating them. So, so you said, so is it just chemo then that you've had?
At the
Or
moment, so I've had one cycle, I've had another, and then I've got my other one starts tomorrow. So there's 2 sessions in each cycle. So I'm back to chemo tomorrow.
okay, and then what happens after
So
that?
then I've booked a PET scan. But again, I spoke to a consultant yesterday. So they told me 2 cycles, well, 2 to 3 cycles, then a PET scan to see how my body's been responding. And then they'll decide if it's further chemo or radiotherapy. And then I
Okay.
spoke to a consultant yesterday who I've been under the whole time, but I've not met him, I've not spoken to him. I spoke to other people. And
Mm,
he was basically, apparently on my file, I'm under having stage 2A and stage 2B. So he wanted to figure out which one I was under. And basically, because I'm stage 2B, I'm actually meant to have um, chemo for 6 months minimum, and I've
oh,
only been scheduled for 2. So I don't really actually know what's after that. He said he's going to book the PET scan anyway
okay.
to make sure that my body's responding. So
Mm,
I'm going to have that in 4 weeks' time. And then hopefully, fingers crossed, the body's responding. And I don't need 6 months worth of chemo because it's brutal. But then I've heard radiotherapy's not amazing either. So,
really, it's the fatigue. I think that was the worst thing with
oh,
the
really?
radiotherapy. I was just so like there's tired and then there's radiotherapy tired,
Oh,
and it's just
wow.
it knocks you out. And there's
Yeah.
like they say it like the not the radiation itself, but like the waves and stuff, it stays in your body for a year,
Oh,
and
my
it
God.
just it's yeah, it's really. really tiring.
Yeah, it's such a journey. That's what I
It
keep saying. It's such a journey. It
is.
really is.
So what support did you have you had then going through treatment? Like, have you had support from then like others, like groups outside of the hospital, or?
Not really groups, mainly just family and friends, and that's it really. I've joined the lymphoma group, the support group, which is on Facebook, and that's been really helpful. So like any side effects and that you can talk about on there, and it's obviously talking to everybody that's had lymphoma, whether that's non-Hodgkin's or Hodgkin's,
I
and
think I was in
people.
that
Oh,
group.
really?
Yeah, no, that
Yeah, I found it
was.
so helpful, and everyone's so lovely
Yeah.
and so supportive. So that's kind of the only thing I've been looking at. I was going to look at doing a few, like Macmillan offer a few things within the setting within the hospital, and that's like look good and feel good they offer, which is really good, but I haven't been yet. Um, they need to get back to me on some dates, and then like they do like a workshop to kind of teach you how to do headscarves and a wig shop, so you can look at do wigs. So I was going to look into doing that as well, but it falls on this weekend or next week when once I've had chemo, and I just can't really do anything. Once I've had it, that's it. It's like, it's a write off for at least a week. By day 7, I start to feel a little bit more
Mm.
human and a little bit more normal. So haven't really, yeah, other than that, just friends and family really.
Mm.
And that's why I started doing my pages and stuff, and I've started to come across so many people's different stories and everything like that, which has been really helpful to kind of not feel like you're on your own.
That's the thing. I had it 4 years ago, and I never thought to come on to Instagram to look for support, and I wish I had,
Yeah,
because there's so much support out there, and everyone, when you've heard those words, it
yeah,
everyone then has this bond, I feel, and
yeah,
everyone then, regardless of whether or not they've got breast cancer, brain cancer, lung cancer, whichever cancer, everyone knows to a point what you're going
yeah,
through, and so they can
absolutely.
resonate more than whoever,
Yeah,
because they haven't gone through it.
yeah, and it's exactly that. And I've definitely found that, like, even I went into the chemo unit for the first time because I was actually on a hospital ward the first time I had chemo. And the second time I actually went into the chemo unit, and the amount of different people, you've never met them in your life, but you start
Mm.
hearing and you all start talking about what cancer you've got. And that's the topic of conversation. And if not, if people can get the cannula in or they're not and they've got to wait. And it's really strange. I can't even explain it, but you automatically just feel comfortable around all these people
Kind of
because there's
makes
some
it then
weird bond
normal
there.
talking about
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. It really, really does.
Yeah, because I really, I from get-go was, I want to talk about it. That was my
Yeah,
way of dealing with it, with processing it. I was like, I don't want to just it be, that thing that nobody talks about. But then no one would want to talk to me
yeah,
about it. And I'd be like,
yeah,
I don't want to talk about it.
yeah. I think as well, unless you've got it or you've been through it or you've watched someone go through it, it's really hard to even understand what it's like and just what that person's going through.
Yeah, absolutely. So what would you say cancer has impacted the most for you?
It's definitely my my ability to be a mum, if I'm being
Mm.
honest. I can't, because not only that, my immune system's suppressed, right? So I've literally got
Yeah.
no immune system. So I can't take him out to a farm for the day if it's busy.
Mm.
I can't go out to take him out for lunch, like a play day. I can't take him soft play. I can't really meet up with
Mm.
friends that have got little ones because I can't really be around little ones.
No.
My life feels like it's stopped, and I feel like it's also kind of stopped his too. And don't I've got brilliant sisters and family members and friends that have taken him out and done all those things for me, but I can't do them,
No.
and that's really what's taken it away. And like obviously with my chemo, he's very much a mummy's boy as well. Like he absolutely loves his mummy. So I am finding that when I am out because of chemo, and he's being taken out, and don't get me wrong, when they're taking him out, he's happy, he loves it,
Yeah.
but it is causing more and he already suffers with separation anxiety, and it causes it more.
Mm.
So I can't even leave the living room even though he can see me without him getting really
Mm.
upset. And it's just I end up getting lot of mum guilt
Yeah.
because I feel like I'm letting him down, but there is literally nothing I can do about it. You know,
No.
it's really, really hard. That's what I feel like. You know, it's affecting my appearance, I think, that's a bit of a struggle. But the mum thing I'm finding the hardest, you know.
Yeah. I spoke to someone messaged me the other day about that, and she was saying that she was sort of dealing with the guilt as well about her daughter knowing, and she felt then that she'd like was burdening her child, and it was like, but you haven't asked to have cancer. Like
No.
it, it's not your fault that you've got cancer. You've been dealt a
Yeah.
crap hand,
Yeah.
and but that's not on you. So it's really hard to not feel the guilt, but you're doing an amazing job as a mum, and he's, you know, when he is with you, he's loving life, and
Yeah.
that's what you've got to just enjoy every day with him. But it's hard. It's
Yeah.
definitely hard.
It is.
As
Because
a
I just,
mum, we're supposed to protect them, and it's,
yeah,
yeah. It's,
you feel like I feel like sometimes I'm relying on him emotionally to get me through it, and then I start thinking, am I putting too much on him? You know, like I mean, we're at the toddler, starting to get to the toddler stage,
yeah.
which is not my favorite stage. So it's like we've got really big emotions, and everything's like the word no is, you know, not good, and we're throwing ourselves all around the floor. It's very dramatic. So I've got that as well. And what I started to do was kind of blame my situation on why he's acting like that. But actually, I've got to just
No,
remember
he's,
it's really normal for his age to be
yeah,
going through this, you know?
absolutely. You
So
can't reason with them at that age,
no,
so don't even
not at
try.
all. No, you know, any boundaries put in place, it's like, how dare you do this to me? But you know, and it's, I don't know. So when we have really good moments and really good days, that helps me, and it doesn't make me feel like I'm letting him down. But it's just that I think it's just in our nature as mums
Yeah.
to feel like you're letting them down when you can't be 100%. And it's not a case of just having the flu or a stomach bug. You know, you cannot, even if you wanted to, sometimes get out of bed. And like you said, with the serious fatigue, I've never known anything like it. And
Mm.
I'll be sitting there, my mum will be talking to me, I'll be like falling asleep. She's like, "You're ready for bed." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm so tired." You know, so it's yeah, it's a lot. It's hard. But
It,
that's definitely what I'd say is affecting me the most is motherhood.
I don't know if you can read the comments or
Oh,
not,
I
but
haven't got my glasses on, but
they're,
kind of.
they're
Oh,
really, everyone is just really lovely.
yeah, they
And
are.
like, they're right, it is teamwork. Like, he doesn't know it, but yeah, you're both supporting each other. And I think that's the thing with kids when it comes to cancer. They just give you this strength, and bless them, they've got no idea,
No,
but they're the ones that then
but
you're
you're
fighting.
getting through it for them, for absolutely for them, you know, and
Absolutely.
that's what I would want him to know when he's older, that I got through it for him,
Yeah,
definitely.
absolutely. So, if anybody is watching this right now, I'll get rid of these comments now, um, and they are going through the thick of cancer, what advice would you give them?
I would be like, don't shut yourself away. There was times I really didn't want to talk about it to people, and I just didn't want. It was nice to have a day where it didn't feel like it was about cancer,
Mm,
um, and or I felt like I didn't have cancer. But I would say, not embrace it, but you've got it, and you've got to fight it. And when everyone kept saying to me, "You've got to be in a really positive mind," I felt like going, "No, I don't want to be, and I don't want to be strong, and I don't want to be positive." And you know what? Actually, that's really okay. You
yeah.
don't have to be positive, and you don't have to be okay. You don't have to be strong, actually. And you've got to have a certain fighting mentality when you're getting ready for treatment, because it's tough. And I don't think anyone should ever be taboo about that at all. But I think you have to feel what you want to feel all the time, and you have to let yourself feel them. And I was quite good at letting myself feel, actually, no, today I don't want to be strong. And if I want to cry all day because I've got cancer and I don't know what's coming, and it's really hard to see, like, plan the next even 6 months of your
Mm,
life. And I think to feel is like, make sure you're not alone. And if you haven't got the most supportive like network around you, there is definitely people out there. Like you know, I found you, you know, like, and I got a chance to do this and tell about my story, because I went online and was like, there's got to be someone else that's got Hodgkin's here, you know.
I know, it's
What did
like,
they go through? What, you know? And I would say, yeah, don't Google things, absolutely don't, but
no,
look for people with similar experiences, and that is what has helped me. People's Instagram accounts I followed, things I've seen on TikTok, because it's made me feel like I'm not on my own.
yeah. And that's the thing. I think even if you do have a big support of like friends and family, you can still feel so alone.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's so it's such an experience people can't connect with. And
Yeah,
I think even if you've got a family member, like I, for example, can't tell you what my sisters and my mum and my dad are going through, because I'm going through it. So
yeah.
I couldn't tell you how they feel, and I know it affects them
Mm,
in a certain way as well. So it's, yeah, you know, it affects it's just, it affects everybody.
yeah,
Really does.
yeah. No, definitely. Oh, thank you so much for coming on.
No,
I'm so
we
sorry we couldn't
don't.
do Living TikTok, but we will get on TikTok because, like, I love your story, and I just want then it to be like spread on TikTok as well. And this is what I love about it is like people like you who are open and talking about
Yeah,
cancer because it needs to be talked about.
absolutely. And I really just want to say as well, Jessie J coming out and
I
kind
saw
of, I don't know if you
that.
see her video,
Yeah,
but her talking about how she's going to come back with massive tits and new music. And you know what? Something, and I don't know if you found this, but you have to have a bit of dark humor about it.
yeah,
And she, again, that I love that about that, because you thought, you know, you have to be open about it. And I'm glad she's sharing her story.
yeah,
And it, you know, it, even though I don't have breast cancer, it resonates with me. You know,
yeah,
there will be a comeback
yeah,
and a glow up,
absolutely,
and we'll get through it. And you know what I mean? And that's what I think is really important about being open and sharing your story. Definitely.
absolutely. I mean, I when I tell people about it, and then I say how it's then changed my life, and then I go, you know, it really opened my eye. Excuse the pun. So
Yeah.
I'm like, it is what it is. Like, yeah, it's just it's everywhere. So unless we talk about it, people don't know what to look for. People don't know to look out for
Yeah.
signs, and you know, early detection is something that's it's not gonna people aren't gonna know unless we talk about it.
No,
End
I
of.
completely agree. Completely agree.
Okay,
Oh.
amazing. Right. We will have you on TikTok.
Yeah.
We
Thank
will
you so
do.
much for having me. It's
Thank
been
you
really
for
nice for my first
coming.
live as
You
well. So I felt really nervous, but it just
did
feels really
you did
normal.
really well. You did really well. But yeah, I mean, like I said to you, I haven't come across anybody else who's had lymphoma, so it's really nice to find someone else.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, thank you so much.
No, thank you. Cool.
Right, have a lovely evening, and
Yes.
yeah, everyone, we will get her on TikTok at some point.
See you
Have a
later.
nice evening.
Bye.
Bye.